Hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. If you are liking the channel, please remember to subscribe. Today I'm going to do a bubble hopper and I'm going to do a green one. In the vise at the moment is a Hanak 330 barbless hook at size 10, and this is a medium wire hook because the fly is intended to fish the reservoirs, so I want something fairly strong. I'm using Fish-On's Ultimate Tying Silk in olive. First thing I'm going to do then is a little touch of super glue on the shank just to bed the thread in. And I'll use my rat's tail to guide me down to the butt of the fly. Now I could at this point add a hot spot in the butt if I wanted, but on this occasion I'm not going to bother. But it's just something to think about for your own tying. A little green bulb here, or an orange bulb, red, whatever takes your fancy really. The rib I'm going to use is this Spartan clear rib. I don't think it's available any longer, but I think Vineyard or Uni do a buzzer wrap which is very similar. I've already cut a thin section off, and basically it's quite a robust clear material. So I'm going to catch that in at the bottom, and then I'll just secure the rest of it in up the body. Come back down to my butt section, and for the body today I'm going to use some of this Nature Spirits Emerger dubbing, and this is peacock green. It's quite a vibrant colour. I really like it, and it's worked quite well for me on some river dries that I've tied, so I thought I'd give it a go with this hopper pattern. I'm just dubbing it on. It dubs fairly easily, and now I've got it on my thread, I'm going to do pretty much touch and turns all the way up the fly till I get into the thorax area. Need to leave plenty of room at the front here because there's going to be a lot going on. So I've wound that clockwise. I'm going to bring my rib anti-clockwise up the fly. I'd like to leave quite big spaces in between the ribbing, and once I've got it up to the top here, I can secure that down. Can take that away now. Pull everything back out of the way and just make sure you've got that clamped down. Okay, next, before I go any further, I'm going to come in with my dubbing brush here, and I'm just going to tease out the fibres from between the rib. Happy with that. I don't want them too long at the back here though, so I'll just remove them. Next then, I'm going to tie in my legs, which I've already organised into clumps of 3. I'll tie in your side first, and I want them to be sitting as low down as possible on this. So I'll catch that in. It's just spun round there. There we go. So that they sit below the fly rather than sitting on top. I want these to sit under the water really in the film. So I'll get my second clump of 3. If you haven't already seen how to tie hopper legs, I'll put the little information bar up at this point, and you can have a look at a couple of other ways of doing it. So on my side now, catch that in, and they'll sit just right for me. So I'm going to come in now and remove my waste. And the next thing I'm going to do is select a couple of plumes of CDC feather. I'm using the Hanak bulk bag, and I've picked out 2 quite long feathers, and this is the medium grey. If you're interested, you could use any colour really, but I'm using this because it's on my table really, more than anything else. Okay, so I'm going to catch the tips in near the front here, 2 or 3 turns, then I can pull it back so that the tips have now come beyond my hook. So now I'm happy with where that's sitting. I'm going to add the tiniest bit of my dubbing. I just see one of my legs has sneaked into the picture there, so I'll just move that out of the way. Push it all up, and then I can come in and just add that little bit of dubbing. Okay, next then I want to make a loop. So I'm just sweeping back the feathers. Doesn't need to be a huge loop. So I'm just checking now. That's okay. Sorry, my fingers seem to be in the way quite a bit here, but it's the only way I can hold it into place. Now, I've managed to capture that in how I want it. Now I'm just going to open my vise so that I can turn the fly on the side. Just get my needle right through there and make the bubble a bit more pronounced. And that's perfect. So I'll clamp the vise down again. Come in with my snips. Before I do that actually, a top tip is to get your thread in front, and then that will stand up your stalks and you can snip them away relatively easily. Okay, so that's all looking fairly decent. I'm just going to have a little tidy up at the front, and what I'm pleased about with this particular fly that I'm tying at the moment is the amount of space I've left at the front here for my hackle, because that's quite important. Now the hackle I'm going to use is it's a green generic cape, what's left of it. It's seen the wars a bit. I've already picked a feather from it, and as you can see I've cleaned all the rough stuff away and left myself about 1/8 of an inch to catch in. So if I just release a little bit of thread, get some wax on just for a bit of extra purchase, and I'm ready to catch in my feather nice and tightly. Can bring that to the front, and just for safety's sake I'm going to stick a half hitch in here. Now I can just forget about my thread for the moment. Next I can grab my feather, bring it round, starting at where the thread is covering the CDC. just agitating them out with my fingers. Bringing it all the way to the front of the hook. Now, I've got a grip on my thread bobbin again. What I want to do is just secure that feather in. You can do that with 2 or 3 turns and there will be still some wax on it from before. So next, lick my thumb and forefinger. Everything comes back out the way and I get 3 to 4 wraps in there. I can grab the excess of this feather now, keeping the thread under tension. It will just snap away for me. So let's bring everything back out the way. Try and make sure any erroneous fibres are gone. And before I finish off, I'm going to add a little bit of UV varnish to my thread. And then to finish, you can use a whip finish tool if you have one to hand, or if you can't use one like me, you can simply put a half hitch in. Now with the Ultimate Time Silk, I was able to bury the thread inside there and snap it away with my fingers, and I can come in with my UV pen just to cure off, and the job's a good one. Okay, let's just get rid of any erroneous fibres. Now, I want this to sit real high on the water. So what I would like to do is just turn the fly upside down. And I want to make sure, I'm going to use my bodkin needle, that my legs are up out the way. And I want to just take a few of the fibres from the hackle underneath. So what that'll do, once I've ginked this up, it will sit just nicely in the surface film. The body and the legs will hang just below the surface, and with a little bit of movement it will be extremely attractive to trout. So there we have my version of a bubble hopper. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching.